I'm standing there in the classroom like a big ass fool trying to think of a 5-line poem. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Nats, and I hope you are happy and healthy and doing okay. Alright, so in today's video I am really coming to you guys with somewhat of a little rant because at times I cannot even bother, and of course I am going to be giving you some valuable information, or just information. I don't know if it's valuable to you, information about my job here in Japan. So as most of you may know, those of you who have been here from the beginning, I am an ALT in Japan. I teach English here. I have been living here for at least 2 years by the time this video goes live. I will just be talking about my job, what it is like, what is expected of me, what are my responsibilities, and things of the sort to let you get a greater understanding of what it is like to live and work here as an English teacher. Yeah, ALT more specifically, because that is my area. Alright, so let's jump right into the video. Guys, I totally forgot today while I was filming that I should have done the shout out for the NATZNIFICENT fam. Thankfully, I have not, dismantled myself just yet. So I have my bag here to do the NATZNIFICENT shout out. So let us see who is getting shout out today. And this is just my phone because I couldn't bother to set up the camera again, and I'm just doing it selfie style, so forgive me. Alright, so this week's NATZNIFICENT shout out goes to Miss Jessica Williams. Big up yourself, Jessica. Thanks for watching my video, girl. And her comment was, "Looks Marv, did it itch?" And you probably listen to the comment and you're saying like, what? Alright, so this comment was left on my microblading video. She was asking if the process, if it itched any at all. And yes, it did itch, just to answer your question. But thank you, girl, for watching my video, and thank you for leaving the comment. Big up yourself. Alright, back to the video. Alright, so first things first, I want to just clarify what an ALT is here in Japan. Now, an ALT, the abbreviation ALT, and I talk with my hands a lot. I am a teacher. In Japan, I am a teacher by training. I talk with my hands all the time. Forgive me if that annoys you. Alright, so an ALT in Japan is, the abbreviation stands for Assistant Language Teacher, which really means that I am not a real teacher per se, and I put quotations here because once you're a teacher, you're a real teacher. Alright, don't make nobody tell you different. But in Japan, an ALT assists a JTE, which is a Japanese teacher of English. So in every class, in every school, in every situation where there is an ALT assigned to a school, they work alongside, or they teach alongside, a Japanese teacher of English. So at no point are you supposed to be allowed by yourself to teach a class because you are an assistant language teacher. That per se, I am a teacher. I am a trained teacher, but in the field of business. I went to the Money College in Jamaica. However, I'm here teaching English, and it's a new line of career, but I'm still in my whole field of education, which is good, and I have been enjoying it so far. So yes, we have gotten that out of the way. So the second point I wanted to talk about is the levels of education in Japan. So let's talk a bit about that. There are similar levels of education here in Japan as anywhere else in the world, I would like to think, because they have at least 4. Let me just name them. So they have kindergarten, which is of course for the babies. In Jamaica we call that basic school. Yep. And second, they have elementary school, which is from grades 1 to 6, which in Jamaica we call that primary school or all age school. I went to an all age school, which is really, it stops at grade 9. Yeah, so elementary, kindergarten, elementary, basic, primary. Then they have junior high school. Now this is where the difference is in terms of Japan and Jamaica, because they have junior high schools, and then they have high school, then they have college, and then they have university. Or maybe some colleges operate as universities, just as in Japan. So in Japan, kindergarten, elementary, junior high school, and then tertiary education, whether it be college or university. So that's 5. And in Jamaica, we have basic school, primary school or all age school, high school, and then tertiary education, which is college or university, whichever you plan to go or go first. And yeah, so those are the main education systems here in Japan. And the difference really comes in with the junior high school and the high school, because in Japan they are separate. Junior high school is from grade 7 to grade 9, and then high school starts from grade 10 to I think grade 11 or 12, somewhere, either 1 or 2 years. I'm not entirely sure, I don't work in a high school. And then in Jamaica, of course, the junior high school and high school is really in one if you're comparing it to Japan, because it's from grade 7 to grade 11, and you know, you have sixth form after that, and so on. So yes, those are the main education systems in Japan. I particularly work in the junior high school system, so I am an ALT in the junior high school system. In Japan, that means I work with students ages, what age they're going at grade 7? About 12, 13 to about 15, 16, thereabouts. So I'm working with teenagers. A girl was thirsty, a girl was dying. Alright, so let's get back into the video, shall we? Alright, so that being said, I work at junior high schools, and you know, to be honest guys, I work at 3 junior high schools. Not 1, not 2, but 3 junior high schools here in Japan. Alright, so let's talk about what is expected of the ALT in Japan, or in teaching in general. So as I said before, you are an assistant language teacher. You assist the Japanese teacher of English with classes. So what is expected of you is that you, 1, go to class every time you have a class. 2, you are really a handyman when if I'm wondering if I'm putting it the right way, but you're basically the side wheel in the class. I am not saying that some schools may not be different. I'm speaking from my experience and my husband's experience, because of course I know about that. In the classroom, you are mainly expected to help students with like creating sentences in English, speaking in English, and most importantly, practicing conversation in English, so that because you know, even though the Japanese teachers know English, the way they speak it can be a little off, you know, in terms of the way they pronounce certain words and certain letters. It doesn't sound natural. So our job as the English specialist, we call it here, because nobody wants to say they're an assistant anything, you know. So they are really counting on us to allow the students to hear how natural English speakers sound, how the natural English words are pronounced at all times. And of course, you walk around the rows. You know, the Japanese classrooms are set up so nice, the rows and columns. You are expected to walk through the rows, walk through the columns, you know. Be sure that students are actually taking notes in their book, writing what they're supposed to be writing, and not reading books and doing other things because they're not interested in English. I have come across students like that who could not care less about learning English, and so they'll be in class, teacher will be talking, giving examples, and students will be at their desk reading a book that has nothing to do with English. So as an ALT, while the teacher is teaching, you're expected to be, you know, that little teacher that helps to hold the classroom together. Separate and apart from that, where lesson planning is concerned, I do not write lesson plans because that is not asked of me, and that is another thing that you have to be comfortable with when you're coming into Japan to teach English as an ALT. You are not in charge of a class, and therefore you are not the one writing the lesson plans and marking the papers and so on and so forth. So the workload is very light and it can get very boring, and for me, I don't like not having anything to do. But when you're doing it for a consistent period of time, then it gets boring, and then you wonder if you're really making use of, you know, your degree or anything like that, because, you know, just sitting there and your expertise is just being used in class to tell students to repeat after you it gets crazy at times. And so some teachers I have friends that work and they are definitely writing lesson plans. So it all depends on the JTE that you are also working alongside with. They will ask you for your opinion. They will ask you for suggestions of activities, games, and ways in which that they can introduce a certain grammar to students. And some of them will of course ask you to write a lesson plan. Note that if they do ask you to write a lesson plan, they will not use it some of the time. Alright, so you'll just be writing things for no reason. Another thing that they expect of you is to create and manage an English board where students can go play games, learn English words, learn English terms, and so on. I made it a point of my duty that every holiday I would have something on the English board to reflect that holiday. So I remember it was Halloween. I made some cute puzzles. I made some nice activities and told the student that, you know, when they complete, they'll receive a gift. Student complete what? Nothing. They pass the English board, go and come. They don't pay it any mind. And guess who decided to stop? Because I ain't wasting my time. Me. I stopped paying attention to the English board. They're on their own. But, you know, some students still come to me after classes and try to have conversations with me. So yeah, your main job is really to be in the classroom helping the JTE however they want to be helped. So if they ask you to prepare activities, prepare them even though they may not use them. And if they ask you to write lesson plans, write them even though they may not use them. But be inside the class, ensure that you are going, ensure that you are also let's see, going over your textbook so you know exactly where you are. And just in case, another thing too that these teachers like to do that I've experienced is putting you on the spot. Now sometimes I don't have classes all throughout the day, so the most class I have for a day is like 3 classes, and they're 50-minute classes on a regular day, 45 minutes on a special day. And there are times when I'll be free in a period, like I'm free this period and then I have class the next period. And if I am free, majority of the time the English teacher is free too, because as you know, we go to class together, right? And she'll be in the staff room, I'll be in the staff room, we're both free. She knows that she's going to teach a particular topic or lesson and she will want me to create something. For example, a poem. We were doing some short line poems and she wanted me to create a short poem for her for the class so that students could follow my example and you know, complete theirs. We were in the staff room for at least an hour, and then it was when we got to class that she said, "Oh, Nate Sensei, can you make a poem?" And then I'm standing there in the classroom like a big ass fool trying to think of a 5-line poem. And the kids are waiting on me, and I was so embarrassed. I'm like, this teacher saw me in the staff room. No, your work clothes. The Japanese teachers, they really they dress to comfort, I guess. And all of this is listed in my husband's book. He has a new book coming out, so I'll just insert a little plug right here, because why not? We're on the topic anyway. My husband Adam, I think he has made many appearances in many of my other videos. He recently wrote a book called Jamaica to Japan. It has been released by the time this video goes live, so I'll insert a picture of it right here, and the link to that book will be in the description box down below, of course. And that book is really summarizing, or well, not really summarizing, but going more in depth into everything that I am talking about right now. So if you are interested in coming to Japan, or know somebody who is interested in coming to Japan, or you just want some information on how it is like for foreigners, Jamaicans especially, to migrate and come to Japan to teach, you definitely need to check that book out. Again, it is in the description box below. All right, back to business. The work clothes. They dress very casually. They dressed sweatpants, shorts, sneakers and skirt, like all of that stuff. So when I came here as a Jamaican hot girl teacher, you know, I be in my nice hairstyle, nice face pretty, you know, makeup, lipstick, well, you know, lipstick, like I'm a lipstick girl, and nice clothes and, well, the heels and so on I couldn't really get into because Japanese, you know, they do the whole indoor shoes kind of thing, so I had to change in different shoes inside, so it makes no sense wearing heels. I'll only be damaging my feet. Alright, so yeah, and after a few weeks of me being pretty and so on, I realized everybody was like kawaii, and kawaii means cute, by the way. And everybody was like, oh, your hair is so nice, not realizing that this month I go from a long hair like this, next month my hair is short like this, the other month my hair is big and curly. Like, they're not realizing that these are all wigs, but you know, I take the compliment and I go along with it. Thank you very much. Alright, so yeah, and I later on realized that, you know what, these people don't even care that I am wearing a nice jacket and a nice matching pants and some very nice makeup on my face. They don't care. So I stopped. But of course, that is their policy. Remember, coming to Japan as an ALT, you are not working for the BOE, you are working for a company, and that company has a dress code. Alright, and therefore you have to follow your company's dress code. So even though the teachers wear sweatpants and shorts and sneakers to school, your company may say you need to dress in a semi-formal attire, which means a nice shirt. You may or may not have to wear a tie depending on what your company's dress code policy is, and you have to put yourself together, okay? So even though they get away with that, we as ALTs are not allowed to get away with that. Do not do it. Alright, don't. Even if the teachers tell you that you can be casual, don't, because if your company makes a random appearance on you at your school and you are not dressed according to their policy, you may be in trouble. Alright, so don't. I still try to dress formal as possible. I just don't go all out with the makeup and, you know, all of that stuff anymore because it's really not necessary. But I do wear work clothes to school. My husband, he wears jacket and tie every single day. I still don't know why the jacket is necessary, but that's what he's comfortable in. As I said before, we are Jamaicans and that is what we do. Alright, so the next thing is actually the work hours, and the work hours are pretty flexible. Again, these work hours are stipulated by the company that you work for. I am not going to say my company's name for privacy reasons, obviously, but my work hours are from 8:20 a.m. to 4:20 p.m. So a good, nice 9 to 5 kind of situation there. However, Japanese teachers, they leave work way into the night and they arrive at work wee hours of the morning. So yeah, and they leave school anywhere from 7:30 to 8 p.m. nightly because they have a massive amount of jobs to do. So the same kind of workload that teachers in Jamaica would have, marking the papers, doing the lesson plan, dealing with parents, dealing with this, dealing with that, they have that done. As an ALT, you get away from all of that work because you're not marking papers, you're not doing the lesson plans, you don't have to see parents, you don't even have to talk to the kids apart from going to class and doing your job. Alright, so the next thing is support from my company. As an ALT, as I said before, you come here in Japan through a company, through a dispatch company, and they are the persons that are really in charge of you. You don't work for the Japanese government, you don't work for the BOE, and you definitely do not work for the schools that you work. So unlike me, I work at 3 schools. None of these 3 schools have authority over me, my job, when I go to work, when I don't go to work, or whatever. My company is in charge of all of this. So for example, if I am running late one morning, I am not allowed to call my school and say, hey, I'll be late. I have to call my company, and then my company will call the school to tell the school that I am late. If I am taking a day off, I have to call my company, and then my company will inform the school and the BOE and all that stuff. At no particular time do I communicate with the BOE or my schools directly with any situation because they're not in charge of that. Alright, so the support that I have gotten from my company is very tremendous. I love my company, and I think for as long as I remain in Japan, I will actually stay with that company. I mean, The salary is a bit minimal, but I think it is reasonably in the scale of ALT salary, and we are comfortable with it. We are allowed to accomplish our goals by having that salary, because as you know, it's not just me, it's me and my husband. We both make the same salary, and so it's easy for us to, you know, navigate through that. So yes, company support, my company, you know, very I recommend them. If you do want to know more information about my company, then you'll have to follow me on Instagram. Send me a DM and then we can talk more. But as for publicly talking about them here, I will not do that. Alright, so if you want more information on my specific company, head over to Instagram. My handle is right here and it will be in the description below. So hit me up via DM for that information. Alright, and the salary is the next thing that I want to discuss with you guys. Salary scale for ALT is anywhere from like 210,000 yen to about 250. Some richer, bigger companies might go up to a 260,000 yen, but the regular scale is really between 210 and 250,000 yen, and that is what, 2,500 USD. And guys, I know, you know, in Japan it is really not that big of a pay scale as you would want to think, because in Japan life is very expensive, cost of living is very expensive. If you want to see a video where I actually discuss cost of living in Japan, comment and like this video so that I can prepare that for you, because $250,000 may seem like a lot of money for somebody working in Japan, but trust me, when rent comes out of that, when your pension comes out of that, when your health insurance comes out of that, grocery, utilities, we are lucky because we have a 2-income household, but it can be very stressful if it's you alone having to deal with all of those deductions. So yeah, the salary in Japan, it's reasonable. In the Aikawa, they pay significantly higher, maybe at least 270,000 yen, which is about 280 something thousand Jamaican dollars before taxes and all of that. But still, that is a significant difference from what ALTs get. And as I said, depending on the type of company that you work for, it can be a new and upcoming company, it can be a well-established dispatch company, and it can be a middle ground dispatch company, where I think my company is on the middle ground. I think like Interact and those companies are at a higher level, or they have more experience in hiring ALTs, and so their pay scale might be at the maximum ALT salary scale mark. That's that for salary. And the next point that I want to share with you guys about working as an ALT is the school environment. Now, I have a lot of notes on this, but I'll try to break it down as simple as possible. The school environment is very quiet. It is nothing like a Jamaican classroom or maybe even an American classroom. The students are very well-mannered, well-disciplined for the most part. I have now been experiencing some very troublesome students, and I am wondering if it's puberty that's hitting them hard or something, but you know, their behaviors are kind of changing, but it still remains the fact that majority of the students are really disciplined. They follow rules. As the bell goes, students are ready, lined up to go to greet the teacher and start their lesson. The students also clean their own schools, so the schools don't have janitors and stuff like that we have in Jamaican classrooms. I'm not sure if they have those in the US either, but I know for sure we have janitors in Jamaica in the school system, and Japan does not have that. The teachers and the students are really in charge of cleaning the classroom, and as an ALT you are expected to participate in all of that activity. So I do clean with the students sometimes. By no means am I getting on the floor and scrubbing floor with any cloth and all that stuff. I'm not doing that, but I do basically what the other teachers do, which is really monitor, maybe take up a broom or two, maybe shift the desks around and so on and so forth. The teachers really clean their classroom, their desks and so on and so forth. They do not have stalls and cafeterias and so on like we have in Jamaica. They do school lunches, and a truck, a particular meal preparing company or so on, provides the school, comes to the school on a daily basis with the school lunch prepared for all the students in the school, and that is their school lunch. Students are in charge of sharing lunches for their other classmates depending on the duty register and so on. And it is more relaxed. So as an ALT, as I said before, you are not hands-on. So for me, I have a teaching degree and I am used to being hands-on. I'm used to making charts, making PowerPoints, you know, dancing, playing games and all of that stuff. I am not allowed to do all of those stuff in Japan being an ALT. So if you are that kind of person, maybe being an ALT is not for you. But in the private school, as I said, Adam worked there. He had to make lesson plans. He was in charge of his classroom basically. He played with the kids, do all the stuff. So maybe you'd want to consider your two options there in terms of which one is right for you. If you want more details, as I said before, please check out the book Jamaica to Japan. It's linked below and it was written by a Jamaican for Jamaicans, so please check it out if you want more in-depth information on that. That's what the school environment is really like. And the teachers don't talk to you, I mean, especially because some of them are afraid of is my mic on? Oh, okay. So some of them really don't know Japanese. As a matter of fact, all of them, none of them know Japanese except for the JTE. And they might know little words like hi, thanks, and may try to have a conversation with you. But for the most part, they don't know English, and you of course don't know Japanese. So you know, communication is really not a thing, and your job can get boring. I am very bored at work most days because I have nothing to do. From time to time, my teacher will come with some handouts and ask me to mark and correct students. Yeah, so sometimes I do get a chance to mark the papers. It's not all the time, and so my job is very boring. But guess what? You're going, you're leaving, you're making your money. A month time I can smile, I'll take it. Alright, and the next point that I want to talk to you guys about is what I do in class. I mentioned, you know, that classes can be just you walking between rows and columns, ensuring that students are working, all of that stuff. Another thing that they depend on you to do, as I said, you have to pronounce the English words so that the students can hear what a native English speaker sounds like pronouncing the words. You do a lot of repeat after me kind of scenarios. So it goes like this. Okay, students, repeat after me. The sky is blue. The sky is blue. And you do that for at least 5 times or until the JTE decides it's time to stop. So repetitive and boring. Yes, it's kind of like that. Alright, so that is really all that I have to share with you today on my job, or my job as an ALT in Japan. I really hope you did enjoy it. I hope that it was informative. I hope that I gave you enough information so you can make a valuable decision for yourself. And I hope if you're already on your way to Japan, or you know, coming over here for the new school year, I do hope that this information will prepare you somewhat for what you will be encountering. Alright, so if you did like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Please comment below any question that you want to ask me, and don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you again in my next video. Bye.